Breaking news. Tension is rising behind the scenes at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I've got something really important to share with you. We know the front office is hungry for another Super Bowl title this upcoming season, but at the same time, there are still a few key issues within the team that need to be addressed. I'll tell you everything I've found out in the past few hours, but before we dive into the details, make sure you smash that like button. But only if you believe the leadership knows exactly what they're doing and can take us back to the Super Bowl. Man, I believe in that with everything I've got. If you believe it too, drop this in the comments. Go Birds. We're going to the Super Bowl. Now, I really need your full attention. Let's get to the point. The Philadelphia Eagles just got a massive competitive edge, and it has nothing to do with what's happening on the field at training camp. It's about what's happening behind closed doors in Washington and Dallas. Two of the Eagles' biggest NFC East rivals just made franchise-altering moves that might look good on the surface, but actually play right into Philadelphia's hands heading into the 2025 season. Let's start with the Washington Commanders. On Wednesday night, they officially signed veteran pass rusher Von Miller. That's right, the same Von Miller who was once the most feared edge rusher in football, the Super Bowl 50 MVP, an 8-time Pro Bowler, and a 2-time champion. But here's the catch. Von Miller is 36 years old. While no one can deny his decorated resume, he's clearly not the player he once was. Washington is not bringing him in to be a full-time contributor. They're plugging him in as a situational edge presence, hoping to squeeze a little more juice out of a player who's clearly past his prime. Now, for a team that's supposed to be young and up-and-coming, adding a veteran like Von Miller seems contradictory, right? That's because it is. While the NFL world is hyping up the Commanders as the next big thing, largely due to the excitement around quarterback Jalen Daniels, the actual numbers tell a different story. With Miller's arrival, the Commanders now have 31 players who are 29 or older. That's 12 more than the next closest team. Their average roster age? 27.5 years old, the oldest in the entire NFL. The Eagles, meanwhile, come into 2025 with the second youngest roster in the league at 25.4 years old, trailing only Green Bay. So when we talk about smart roster management, Howie Roseman stands tall. The Eagles are younger, faster, and deeper across the board. Washington is betting big on short-term gains at the expense of long-term growth, while Philadelphia is building something sustainable. And for fans wondering how this impacts the rivalry directly, just remember. In 2024, the Eagles and Commanders split their regular season series. The first game came down to the wire before Saquon Barkley broke it open with 2 quick touchdowns.
The second game, Jalen Hurts got injured early, and even though Washington rallied late, they barely squeaked out a win against backup Kenny Pickett. Then came the NFC Championship, and that's when everything became crystal clear. The Eagles dropped 55 points on Washington. That wasn't just a statement. That was domination. Jalen Daniels is a talented quarterback, no doubt about it. But talent alone doesn't win championships. Youth, depth, smart front office decisions, and a cohesive roster, that's what wins. And that's exactly what the Eagles have heading into 2025. Now let's turn our attention to the Dallas Cowboys, where the situation might be even more laughable. While the Eagles are locking in their stars early and building through youth, Dallas has fumbled one of the biggest contract opportunities in recent memory. Edge rusher Micah Parsons is destined to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. That's not speculation, it's inevitable. But the Cowboys had a golden opportunity to lock him in last year for about $35 million annually. Instead, they waited. And now, the Steelers just gave TJ Watt a massive 3-year extension worth $123 million, with $41 million per year on average. That sets a new benchmark for Parsons' camp. He's younger than Watt, and arguably more dynamic at this stage of his career. So Dallas now finds itself in a position where they'll have to shell out even more, probably well north of $42 million per year, to keep their superstar pass rusher. Meanwhile, Howie Roseman has already taken care of business in Philadelphia. DeVonta Smith, paid. A.J. Brown, paid. Jalen Carter, he'll be extended early too. Roseman doesn't wait around to get outbid. He sets the market, forces other teams to play catch up, and avoids these costly mistakes that cripple cap space down the line. And that's what's so frustrating if you're a Cowboys or Commanders fan. Both organizations seem stuck in the past, while the Eagles are playing chess 5 moves ahead. When we talk about smart football operations, Philadelphia is in a different league. Roseman's foresight, paired with Jeffrey Lurie's leadership and Nick Sirianni's player development, has positioned this team to contend year after year, not just for playoff berths, but for Super Bowl titles. So let's bring it full circle. The Commanders are trying to win with an aging core under the illusion of youth, and the Cowboys are wasting time and money with poor contract timing. Meanwhile, the Eagles are locking in core talent, maintaining cap flexibility, and entering 2025 as arguably the most balanced team in the NFL, both on paper and in practice. With training camp just days away, one thing is clear: the NFC East goes through Philadelphia. The question is, how long will it take before the rest of the division catches up, if they ever do? What do you think about the Commanders adding Von Miller and the Cowboys dragging their feet on Micah Parsons? Are the Eagles in the driver's seat for another NFC East title? Let me know in the comments. And here's where the long-term vision of Howie Roseman truly shines. While Washington scrambles to add veteran band-aids and Dallas panics over the cost of inaction, the Eagles are moving with purpose, with precision. This isn't a team that's reacting to the market, they're dictating it. Every step, every extension, every draft pick fits into a greater structure. You don't have the second youngest roster in the league by accident. That takes intention. And with that intention, Philadelphia is positioned not just for 2025, but for the next 3 to 5 seasons. Let's go back to Micah Parsons for a second. Once he signs that mega deal, you have to ask yourself, what does that do to the rest of the Cowboys roster? They've already lost pieces year after year, and they haven't been able to replenish the depth they once had. Players like Trayvon Diggs, C.D. Lamb, who's also waiting on a contract extension, and even Dak Prescott are all watching closely. The delay on Parsons is going to have ripple effects across the entire roster. You can't keep everybody, especially not when you overpay because you failed to act early. Compare that to what Philly's done. The extension for A.J. Brown was genius, early, fair, and below the insane numbers that we've now seen reset the receiver market. DeVonta Smith, same thing. And Jalen Hurts? He got paid early too, locking in a below-market number before the QB market exploded again. That's financial discipline. That's organizational leadership. That's the difference between leading the division and chasing shadows. And we haven't even talked about the talent pipeline. Look at who's waiting in the wings on the Eagles roster. Young pieces like Nakobe Dean, Khalil Ringo, and Tyler Steen are developing behind veterans. They aren't being forced into the fire before they're ready. That kind of depth isn't just helpful, it's necessary when you want to survive a 17-game season plus playoffs. Meanwhile, Dallas and Washington are hoping their aging lineups and questionable depth can stay healthy and overachieve. Good luck with that. Then there's the intangible, culture. When you listen to Eagles players talk about the locker room, the tone is consistent. This is a tight group. Veteran leaders like Lane Johnson, Brendan Graham, and Jason Kelce helped build a foundation of accountability. And even as Kelce moved into retirement, his presence helped lay the groundwork for the next wave of leadership. Jalen Hurts is not just a star, he's a tone setter. Players follow him. Coaches respect him. The front office builds around him. That kind of synergy is rare in this league. Now compare that to Washington, where Dan Quinn is entering just his second year as head coach and is already trying to hold together a locker room filled with aging vets and young stars who've never won anything together.